This podcast is intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome back to the Cuckold Marriage Podcast. I'm Cuckoldress Lexie Meadows. For a lot of men, the fantasy of watching or knowing that your wife is with another man is incredibly powerful. Some men spend months, even years, fantasizing about this, and you convince yourself that if the opportunity ever were to arise, you'd be ready. But fantasizing about being a cuckold and actually living it are two very different things. Once it becomes real, the emotions do too. The jealousy, the comparisons, the nervousness, the excitement, sometimes even feelings that you never thought you would have, never expected. So how do you know if you're actually ready? Tonight, Chris and I are going to go through 10 signs that you might actually be ready to move beyond the fantasy and explore cuckolding in real life. And what you should probably figure out before you do. Before we get started, we have some very exciting announcements. First, our Patreon is officially live. We've created a few different membership options with some really amazing benefits, like special Patreon-only episodes, live Q&As with Chris and I, signed pictures from me, and other ways to be a bigger part of our community. If you enjoy what we're doing and you want to see the Cuckold Marriage Podcast continue to grow, we'd absolutely love your support. Joining our Patreon is one of the best ways you can help us keep creating our episodes, bring on great guests, and grow the community. We've made everything really easy to find. Our Patreon, my Fansly, ways to private chat with me, all can be found on my website, cuckoldresslexie.com. And thank you so much for everyone who continues to listen, watch, share the show, and support us. It really does mean so much to us. So without any further ado, Chris, you want to get started?
Let's get started. Okay, so this episode is all about if you're ready to enter into this lifestyle, because a lot of guys want it.
Mm-hmm.
But the real question is, what do you need to do to actually be ready and prepare for it? Because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's super fun, right, honey? We like it, but you need to be ready first. So what we're going to go through are some key signs that you want to look for to ensure that you're actually ready to enter this type of a relationship. So here's where we're going to be separating the fantasy from the reality of like what actually needs to go into a relationship to ensure that you're ready. So I'm going to rattle some off, and then Lexie and I can banter a little bit about them. So number one, the first sign you're ready is you can separate fantasy from reality. So that's a big one, Lexie, because the cuckold fantasy, guys who identify as cucks have the greatest imagination I've ever seen. Like we can
all that cuck porn,
and we can probably all write a cuck porn, and actually write it pretty well. We have all these creative ideas and all these fantasies like running through our heads, but how do you separate that fantasy from reality? How can you really digest the fact that what you have in your mind is probably not what it's going to look like when it actually takes place? What are your first thoughts, Lexie?
Well, for one thing, I think it's difficult to adequately imagine what you've never experienced. So you have to leave some space for just knowing that there's going to be the unknown and it's not going to be exactly as you think it is. And it's hard to prepare when you don't know exactly how it's going to feel. But visualization and, really closing your eyes and imagining the scenarios, imagining your wife or your partner in it, are definitely, first steps in the right direction.
Yeah, it's interesting because some of these ideas that you have in your head that you think are going to be super hot, like when they actually happen, you're like, oh, holy shit, that actually kind of stings. Especially the first time that it happens. Like after you get through something and there's aftercare and all that stuff and there's reconnecting, it doesn't sting as much the next few times, but there is some sting there. I remember, just fantasizing about this forever and really thinking about what it would be like to see you kiss a guy. And then the first time it happened, we were at a bar, and we were sitting outside, and it was the three of us, and I went inside to go get another round of drinks or something like that. And as I came back out, I could see through the door, because there was like a clear window through the door. I saw you two, like locked, like making out. And my first thought was, holy shit, like this, like it just got real, like super fast. And it was like a gut punch. And then, I mean, it was hot, but I was just like, I cannot believe this is actually like, this is real. Like this shit really happens. That was my thought. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah,
Yes, I
of
remember
course you
that.
remember, but I don't
I
remember, I don't know if you remember that specific like incident when I was walking back in and
I wasn't paying attention to you. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
I
true.
was like, no, I don't remember that incident because I was a little busy.
Yeah, you were a little bit preoccupied. Okay, so number two, and this is really important, is you can talk about jealousy without treating jealousy as a failure. This is critical because you've thought about this forever. Okay, your wife finally goes out with somebody else. Maybe she sleeps with him. Maybe she kisses him. Maybe she just goes on a date. And then all of a sudden you have this just hit of jealousy and like anger, and you might feel guilty about it. But I mean, how have you seen this show? You've seen this show up with me, Lexie. I mean, I'd want this, and you've seen me get jealous.
I have. I have seen, me like trying to, sometimes afterwards, like tell you different parts of the night and things that happen. And sometimes you're like, yeah, yeah. And then sometimes you're kind of like, okay, all right, that's nice. Moving on. It's because you're jealous or you're mad about something that, like I can tell that you've hit your limit. You don't really want to hear it. And sometimes it can be like, it's not like I've been talking your ear off. It can be from the very beginning. I say something
Mhm.
and, like, well, we had this really nice dinner or something. I don't know. And you'll just kind of be like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
a
nice.
lot of times it's like what gets me jealous sometimes is when you have experiences with other people that you haven't had with me. So
Mm,
I remember like a dinner one that you referenced dinner. You like went out and had caviar for the first time.
yes.
And that just it still pisses me off that like that was the first time you had that because I love that shit. And like I like escargot, I like duck, I
Ugh.
like that kind you won't have any of that stuff with me.
No, I won't.
And I feel like if it were me and you, maybe you wouldn't have had caviar. I don't know, would you have if it were you and I on a
Yeah.
date?
Uh,
But it's still like either
I'd say
way.
a duck, but I draw the line at snails. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Like there's I don't care who I'm with or what the deal is. I don't care where I am, which
Yeah,
country I am in. I'm not eating snails.
yeah, that's just wrong. But but going back to this point. So when I am jealous, I try to communicate to you, especially if that jealousy leads to like some hurt. Like I may try to communicate to you that I need more love, more like um so when we had Roxy and Ben on, she said that a lot of times she'll say to him afterwards, like, I didn't mean anything I said during, right? Which I thought was super cute and super loving and just super real.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, you've seen those kind of moments with me and you've responded in those kind of ways too, don't you think, honey?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's you can't just be the, you know, snappy little cuckoldress all the time. You have to. It's important to, um, as soon as it's over during aftercare, actually show that soft side and make sure that there hasn't been any damage done or any hurt feelings or any insecurities that have popped up in your cuck. Just um, it's important to because I'm not a mind reader and I don't know what's going on in your mind. Sometimes I can tell, but sometimes I am clueless, and so I have to um, just flat out be like, "Hey, you okay?
Hmm.
Is there something wrong? You seem a little off. You seem a little melancholy. Like,
Hmm.
what's going on in your head right now?"
Hmm. Yeah. So I think the point of this one is just you got to get to the point where you know that jealousy might happen. It's going to happen. Like
Mm.
it's going to happen,
It
and
doesn't go away
doesn't go
ever.
away. So just know that that's not a failure. And when you get good enough at this, you learn how to mix that jealousy in as part of the excitement. Again, and I've compared it to like a roller coaster. I've compared it to like a haunted house. It's like the same kind of thrill. Okay,
Yeah. Next one
so number
is
three, yeah, go.
your relationship is already strong. So, cuckolding is not something that you bring in when the relationship is on its last leg and you're like, hey, maybe this will save it. Like it was have a baby or do cuckolding. So we went with cuckolding. You know, not a good plan either way for either
Either
idea.
one.
Huh?
Either one is not.
Either one, not good.
Mhm.
It's if there are major problems in the relationship, cuckolding is going to only exacerbate the problems. It's only going to draw them out more and make them more intense. You have to have that strong foundation. You have to have that element of not just trust and love, but respect for each other. You have to have that open communication. If you don't have it prior to jumping into a cuckolding, um, dynamic, you damn sure better get it immediately. A lot of couples will say, wow, we never had the level of openness and honesty that we now have thanks to starting this dynamic. It has really, brought us to a different level that we were nowhere near it. And that's fine. You don't have to have the perfect level of openness and honesty um, to get into it, but you do have to have a good foundation. And this will almost certainly enhance it. So you got to have the solid foundation. You can't be having all these, major cracks that you think that this will be like a saving grace for, like ramp up the sex life and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have anything to add to that. I think you said it perfect, honey. So number 4 is you genuinely want your partner to have autonomy. So this one's tough. Because like I genuinely want that. It's also terrifying. Because like for example, like I think good examples would be like the story we just did of you going out downtown.
Mm.
And like I mean, you just went and had fun and you just didn't like you give 0 fucks, right? Like you just went and partied and you're like, I'm gonna meet somebody and you just like, you just had a good time. Like I want that. And it's also like it's really tough, right? Because I don't know what's going on. So like it's just the anxiety will get to you. But like I genuinely want that, especially when you're out and like having a fun, having a party. Like I want that and it's also tough
Yeah.
to get to that level.
Well, I think that, sometimes, every now and then, there are cucks that they really want to be a cuck, but they don't know how to be a cuck because inside they really want control. They want to give it up, but they just can't, and they want all this control. They want to basically be Spielberg and direct the entire experience. And sometimes I'll see it down to, like what they want her to say and wear and everything, but even if it's not that extreme, they want to create the night and make sure that it fits this certain um narrative that they want. And you can't have that. She's a person too, and she has her own preferences. She's gonna, she should have the ability and the autonomy to go with the flow, go where the night takes her, make her own decisions. And, once you finally let go and release that control, I think that you find that it's actually exciting and you much prefer that you're just kind of along for the ride. Whether you're there or you hear about it afterwards, it it makes it a lot more fun than trying to control everything instead of actually releasing control, which is part of being a cuck.
Yes, I see this so much. Even with guys that reach out to you, let's say I see them wanting to write the story. You tell me, sometimes about these incidents, and you don't really work with
I
guys
don't
like
use
that.
names or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, don't use names or anything like that. But I know that you don't work with guys like that. You're in charge.
Well, I give them a chance. I try to help them see the light
Mhm.
and see how it could be and how it would be better if they didn't do that. And then sometimes they're like, "Oh, okay. You know what? I can see that." And I did that. I made a baby step and it felt great.
Yeah.
Now I want to take a further step. I want to release more. But the ones that are like, "No, I want her to do this exact thing and say this thing and we're going to it's going to be like this and I don't want her doing this, but I don't know, just really like literally trying to make it into a movie, make the night into a movie that they can write the script for as it's happening in real time almost, or pre-plan it, and then heaven forbid it goes off script. Those people are hard to work with.
Well, it's not just hard to work with. Like, guys, if you're being like that, trust me, it's so much more fun the other way. Like when you let her just do her thing. So that night in particular that I was just talking about, the night where you were in downtown, the script had been written. Like you were gonna be with somebody, and I knew pretty much exactly what was going to happen because he was telegraphing it to you. And so, like, you told me what was going to happen. And so I had in my mind, and this guy was like a guy who was a bull, so he was going to do a lot of the stuff that I was excited about. And then it went completely off script, and you ended up bringing home somebody who was the opposite of that.
Yeah.
But the night was still fun, and the best part is that you had fun. That's the best part.
It's always the best part.
Yeah, and that's what, like, a true cuck wants their wife to enjoy themselves and have fun and uplift their wife and roots for them. Like, that's what we're really about. We're about uplifting our women in the best way possible.
Yeah. So the next one is you can handle not being the center of attention. And I think that a lot of people may not understand initially when I say that it's not about being the center of attention. It's about not being part of the attention at all.
Go deeper into that one because I think this is really key. Like, paint the picture of what it actually looks like.
So when you're out with, if you're, out with your wife, your partner, your cuckoldress, and the bull is there, she's going to pay attention to the bull. She may or may not ask for your input. She may or may not involve you in the conversation, and he may or may not involve you in the conversation. They, may be completely just not paying attention to you whatsoever, and it's okay. It's not a sign of disrespect. It's not that they don't care or they want to make you feel bad. It's just that's kind of the name of the game. And um when you're no longer trying to like insert yourself into everything and you actually just kind of let it flow, it is actually enjoyable from what you've told me.
Yeah, guys, bring a bag of popcorn. Like, you're there to observe. You're not there to participate. So, I mean, and I've seen it both ways. I remember.
And we've done it both ways.
Yeah,
We've had times where you were very participatory, but other times where like you're just lucky to be there, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I remember we were in Paris, and this story we haven't told yet, and we're not going to tell it right now. But we were having drinks with another guy, and you and him were really into each other. And so you're sitting on one side of the table, like, you two are on the little sofa. I'm sitting like on a chair, across from you two, and he's got his hands like rubbing your legs. And I was just you two were in your own little world. Like, I was there, like, observing. I think at one point I walked away for like 10 minutes, came back, you were still just, talking and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so I've done it both ways in the sense that I've sat there and observed, but now I find a lot of pleasure of not being there at all. Like, so if it's not going to be one where I'm going to be participating, I would prefer to just let you go out alone because it's just like, it's weird. A lot of times it can be weird just sitting there and like, I mean, trust me, it's super fucking fun. Like, I like it. Like, I want it every once in a while, but I prefer you being by yourself, to reduce the awkwardness of me just sitting there. And also so you can focus on, although it doesn't really distract you when I'm there, you still focus on the guy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I like half the time I'm like, oh, did he go to the bathroom? Where'd he? I didn't even notice him leave. Where'd you go?
Yeah. So guys, but like on a serious point, like, you have to be like okay with that. Like, you're not going to be the center of attention. Your wife, your partner is gonna like forget that you exist, and
Yes.
that's okay. That's what you want.
And it's not a sign of disrespect. It's not a sign of a lack of love. It's that this is a game you guys have entered into, and this is part of that game and part of that experience. And this is, it's fun. It's fun all the way around.
Super fun. Yes. It's really fun. Okay.
So you've been thinking about it.
But turning fantasy into reality takes more than curiosity, it takes direction. I work with couples and individuals to guide you through the conversations and dynamics that make a cuckolding relationship actually work. Those first conversations and introductions to your fantasy are especially critical. Done right, it changes everything. Done wrong, it can break it. If you're ready to do it the right way, book time with me at cuckoldresslexie.com.
The next one is you've discussed boundaries when you're not turned on. That's the last part is super key because it's guys, we're talking to you. Guys, we're talking to you. I'm talking to you. So when you're super turned on, your boundaries are going to be much wider. Everything sounds amazing when you're turned on.
You're like, I'd be fine with that. That'd be great.
That'd be amazing. Totally. Go with him for a month. That sounds great. Like, just send me pictures. Okay. After you're not horned up anymore, after you're not horny, after a release or something, sit down and talk to your partner about what boundaries actually look like, because that's going to be your best time when you're clear-headed, and you can actually discuss what some of those boundaries can be. What do you think, Lexie?
Yeah, and I think it's really important to do this, and it can be, a little dangerous not to do it. If you wait until you are actually like in a scene, y'all go out to a bar, she happens to meet a guy, and you're both kind of put on the spot, and she says to you, "Hey, is it cool if I do this?" And at the time, you're so turned on, and you also feel pressure because you're like, "Oh shit, I wanted this. I brought this to her," because usually it's the guy, let's face it. "I asked for this. We're actually here. It's actually happening. How can I say no?" Like, I'm not really all that comfortable with this maybe, but how can I say no? And I'm really turned on right now. It can lead to, some hurt feelings afterwards, or some boundaries crossed that you didn't intentionally set out to cross, and she didn't set out to cross them, and you just gave her the okay. So if you ahead of time are like, "Hey, I'm okay with this, but I'm not okay with this," when you have a clear head before any of the action, before y'all even go to the bar, um, then you you can play it safe and make sure that those boundaries are not, encroached upon.
Yeah, and you have mentioned the red, yellow, green. Like, I think that's a good thing, or some kind of a safe word where you can exit a scene. Like, at minimum, have that. But boundaries beforehand are important because when it gets going, it's on. And so Lexi and I do discuss, especially when we're not going to see each other for a night, when you're going to be out for a night or something like that. I'll say, hey, like, make sure to check in with me like once when you get there. Let me know you're safe, and maybe in the morning text me so I know you're okay, or that you're coming home or something like that. We communicate those kind of things. Or like if we're out at a bar, I may tell you, make clear, hey, if you meet a guy and go home with him tonight, like, cool, like, just wave bye to me. Um, so anyways, all those are boundaries, and yeah, your boundaries are going to be stretched and they're going to change and all that kind of stuff, and that's totally fine, but just make sure that your most important ones are crystal clear. That's key. Like, you got to be like, I'm not pretending. Like, this is a real boundary. Like, if you do this, it's going to actually hurt. Don't do this.
Right. Next one. So you are prepared for comparison. Um, the guy that she's with is going to be different than you, and in some good ways and some bad ways. But obviously, all you care about mostly is the ways in which he maybe is better. And it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It just means that he's different. He may be more of a talker. He may, be more confident, more attractive, more I don't know, experienced, or simply just, like, offers her an experience that you haven't, or that you can't quite because you guys are just very different guys. And in no way, shape, or form does that mean that you're not good enough and that this guy is necessarily, better than you and you're inadequate. But there's going to be some comparison there naturally for all those involved. And so if you're not prepared to be compared to someone else, then I mean, it's gonna be really rough trying to be in this dynamic because comparison is just it's uh, part that it goes in the territory. Like there's no way around it.
Yeah. And I mean, cucks typically like comparison, but just know that there are certain ones that are going to sting. So this would be part of the boundaries discussion, right? Like if there's a certain like comparison that you don't want to go there,
Mhm.
then you've got to make that clear beforehand because there are certain ones that would sting more than others. And so we just want to know what those are beforehand. So just make sure that you talk to your partner about that and then you should be good to go. But yes, I mean, Lexi, you do comparisons. I mean, you tell me if somebody's bigger or better or something like that. You know what? Give me one from your last guy out, downtown guy.
Put me on the spot, why don't you?
I'm just trying to show them an example of a comparison.
He was more just chilled, laid back, and had just kind of this like swagger to him.
Yeah, I figured it was going to be that. I figured it was going to be something around the fact that he was cooler than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was also much younger than me, so that's different.
That too is much younger than you.
Yes, so I figured he would be cooler than me, and frankly, that's not a very hard thing to achieve. So
I was gonna say it,
I
but
feel like most of the guys that you're with are going to be cooler than me, but I could still beat them in a ring.
true.
but that's fine. That's fine. I want you to, and again, the comparison. If you know yourself, guys, like you'll probably already know these things. And one for me, like I really want you, Lexi, to find guys that fill the gaps that I don't have. So like I keep on mentioning the outdoorsy thing or like the more chill, the more cool. Like I want you with like a suave guy, like the things that like I don't have. I want you to have everything. I want you to have your cake and eat it too. And I think that's what cucks should
We have that
want.
in common.
Yes, you want that too. And I want it so badly for you. I want it so badly for you. Okay, the next one is you have the right to change your mind. This is one that, hey guys, we're gonna bust your fantasy for a second. You have your right to change your mind. This is not like she's gonna take away your key and you're never gonna see it again, and your dick is gonna be locked for the rest of your life, right? Lexi, what are your thoughts on how the changing your mind thing should play out?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that once they try it, once they open that Pandora's box, as I keep referring to it as, that it's we're off to the races, and there's no um cancellation of this contract. There's no slowing down, there's no changing what rules we have, there's no straight up saying, I thought I would like this and I don't want to do it anymore. That's not the case. You can I mean, this is y'all's relationship. Do whatever you want. If you don't feel comfortable with it, if you give it an honest try and you're like, you know what? It had some fun times. There were some fun aspects, but overall, I don't think that this is something that I like, whether that's him or her saying it.
Hmm.
Um, that is fine. And the other person needs to be um, a big enough person and love their partner enough to say, okay, you know what? Like, I wish that you felt differently, but I respect how you feel, and I'm not going to put you in an uncomfortable position. We can change our rules. We can slow down. We can stop. We can do whatever it is that we need to do to maintain our relationship first, because that's the most important thing.
Hmm. Yeah, well said. Well said. I completely agree with you.
Next one, you care about the aftermath as much as the anticipation. So,
Yes.
yeah, everyone talks about like the lead up and how exciting it is, and it is. There's so much anticipation, and it's fun for everyone. Um, but what happens afterwards matters, and you have to actually be able to think about that and visualize it and think about what you think it would look like and what you would like it to look like. Do you want a lot of details from her? Do you not want a lot of details? Do you want, reassurance? Is she the type that's going to want to have her space immediately afterwards when you're craving reassurance? You know her, better than anyone else. And so really think about what that would probably look like in y'all's situation. Try and imagine, which again, you're just imagining. It doesn't mean it's going to happen that way, but try to imagine kind of like how you think it would go, how you would like it to go, and what it's going to look like after the fantasy becomes a reality.
I agree. And one of the things that I do, not always, but a lot of times if you have an overnight, when you come back, I will have like flowers or something for you at the door. Um,
Or you'll just be waiting for me like a puppy.
or I'll just be waiting for you like a puppy, but
Once or twice, you literally are like,
waiting for you like a puppy. Exactly. But the reason why I do that is to make sure that the first thing that you are aware as you walk through the door is I love you. Thank you for doing what you did. And just that, like, I'm not mad at you. Like, we're good. Like, this is awesome. Like, I just want to make sure I send that signal.
yeah.
That everything is great and that I appreciate what you did. Now, the one of the things that you're going to want to do is discuss with your partner what you're going to need both before and after, because what you think you might need versus what actually happens in the time afterwards is going to be different. So you might tell your partner, hey, afterwards, like, today when you get back, like, I just need us to both get a couples massage and just spend time together, or we're just going to go to the pool and relax together. We're just going to go to a movie. We're going to go to a dinner, like whatever it is. That might be your plan. Like, hey, we're going to go have a nice dinner tonight when you get back and just go see a movie or something. And then she gets back and you just feel devastated, and you decide that what you actually need is just to snuggle on the couch and watch a movie and like hold hands all night and like kiss all night, or maybe it's the reconnecting sex or whatever it is. Whatever your tradition is, whatever you need, make it as clear as you can before, along with the boundaries discussion. So it's almost like before an airplane takes off, the pilot and the co-pilot like talk to each other about a game plan, right? So there should be the same kind of rules before you enter a cuckolding scene. The pilot and the co-pilot, and the pilot is clearly the spouse, is clearly whoever the cuckoldress
Damn right.
is. You're the pilot, I'm the co-pilot, and we're going to discuss before what the boundaries are, what our route map is, and then what happens after we land. Like what is the gate we're going into and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. Do you like that analogy?
Yeah.
I'm all about the analogies.
You and your analogies.
Fucking love analogies, man. Anyways, okay, that's that one. And the final one is you want the reality, not just the fantasy of being a cuckold. So this is kind of the big one here, Lexie, because the reality is everything that we've been talking about. Setting boundaries, setting what the aftercare looks like, dealing with jealousy, dealing with comparison. Everything we just went through today is the reality of being a cuckold. Notice what we didn't mention. We didn't mention, a caged cock while you're being, tied up and your spouse is being done right in front of you. Like, we didn't mention that today. Like, that's great, and that may happen. But these other things are the reality of what's actually going to happen. It's not just the cuck porn that you have in your mind. What are your thoughts on this, honey?
No, I agree. I mean, that's well said. It's, if you go through with it and, or you're basically you're accepting of the fact that it may or may not turn out like you thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not just cemented to, it must be like this, it has to be like this, or I'm going to be unhappy. Because then guess what? You're probably going to be unhappy. There has to be, like I said, like some space for, wanting reality, whatever that looks like, and not expecting it to be just a complete cuck porn playing out in real life.
Yeah. And if you're okay with that, if you want the reality and you're ready for, an honest relationship with your spouse, then you might be ready to do it. If you can go through these 10 things that we just knocked off and still want to do it, then you may be ready to do it, as long as you're on the same page with your spouse.
If you can accept that, you're going to probably feel some jealousy, and it's probably going to sting a little bit. You are going to feel anxious, leading up to it or while it's happening, especially if you're not there. If you can accept the comparison and the insecurities, the things that are likely to creep up, and you still want it even with those threats, then maybe you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we do have we have two listener questions, actually. The first one was email. He said, me and my wife are going on vacation in a couple weeks. I would love to explore my cuckold kink while we're in Mexico. She knows all about my fantasy and is willing to play along with it as long as we don't move too fast. I would kill to see her flirt while I watch. The only problem is that it will just be her and I, and the thought of her going out to the bar alone, drinking, and getting hit on may be a little boring for her if nothing happens, and possibly a hit on her confidence. I'm open to anything fun, but what are your thoughts on ways to up our success and make it fun, or anything else that we could explore as beginners at all this? Thanks for your time and love the show. P.S. This is a normal, vanilla, adult only resort.
It's good to know.
Right. Um, so that's great that it's an adult only resort, um, because it ups the chances of
Hmm.
her being hit on if she's alone at the bar, like
Hmm.
by a ton. So, if it was just any resort, any bar, then yes, that concern of, it may be boring and it may affect her confidence a little bit. Those are very real fears and possibilities. Um, but I definitely like the odds a lot better since you're at an adult resort. One thing that you guys can do beforehand is kind of agree to a certain time period, a time limit, maybe like half an hour. And if she doesn't get hit on and hasn't found someone that she's talking to by then, you come in and you either just plain join her and you guys have drinks and enjoy the night, or you do the role play. You pretend to be a stranger. You hit on her. You take her home that night. That can still be a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah, I think that would be super fun. I mean, my mind is going wild with like what I would do
Go
in
for
that
it.
situation. I mean, I think that's a really good one. So the way I would play that out, like, here's my cuck imagination. I would say, Lexie, get dressed super sexy and then go to a bar and be there for like a half an hour without me first.
Mhm.
And so you go, you order a drink, you're at the bar, and in that period of time, you're gonna get hit on if there's single guys. But there may not be a single guy in the bar. Like that, that's a risk, right? Like everybody in there might be a couple or something like that. It's like an
Sure.
all-inclusive resort. It's adults only. So it may be a lot of people on vacation. You're probably not gonna have a ton of bachelor parties there. So I think that your idea, Lexi, about give it a time limit. So a half an hour walks in, like nobody has hit on your wife yet. Then you role play it, and you just pretend that you come up with your own identity, all that kind of stuff. That could be super super fun. She calls you with a different name and all that stuff. If you want to see her get hit on, but you still want to remain in those limits, there are two other options that I'm going to give you: a strip club,
I think you're going to say it.
a strip club, or a lifestyle club, a sex club. Either one of those places, she's going to get looked at, she's going to get hit on, she's going to get attention, and you don't have to have sex. So you can still keep it in that boundary, right? And the strip club especially, like, that strippers will be coming up asking if she wants a lap dance, but also the guys in there. Like, anytime, my fellow men, anytime we see a woman in there who is not a stripper who's attractive, they're kind of they become kind of the center of attention. Like, it's a normal chick. It's like, in there. So she will get looked at in a strip club. And the other place is a lifestyle club. Like, she will almost definitely get hit on. You both will, like in the lifestyle club. And you don't have to do anything. Like, you don't have to, you can just go there and be like, hey, we're just here, like, hanging out. You could even make friends in there. So I would say that those are really good options for your trip. Oh man, I would be so excited, Lexi. I'd go on a snorkeling by yourself, go meet a hot guy in the water, go do it.
Yes, just randomly swim by a guy and be like, oh, hey.
Maybe you'll be on a dolphin. I don't know how the fuck this works. I don't like nature. Nature sucks.
Gosh.
Okay. Okay. So the next question, I hope that helped you. I hope that gave you some ideas for your trip to Mexico. I hope you saw me getting excited for that, Lexi. Let's take a trip to Mexico. Okay. Next one is a voice message that we got. So I'm going to play it here from my phone.
Hi, yes, this is Steve from Ohio. Just calling to first say thank you so much for the show that you both do here, the information you provide, and for all the coaching support that Lexi also provides. Really appreciate it. Really helps those of us in the community feel seen. But one question I have today is, Lexi, what type of pleasure do you get from being a cuckoldress to other cuckolds besides Chris? Obviously, these are people who are, I'm assuming, mostly online or all online. And I'm just wondering what type of pleasure you receive from that type of dynamic. Thanks so much. Bye.
All right. Well, yeah, a lot of it is online, and I meet, um, you know, cucks on Fansly and places like that, and just fan mail, things like that. But, um, I mean, it's the same pleasure that I get from cucking my husband. Really, I mean, it's the power, it's the attention, it's the um, you know being treated a certain way that I love to be treated like that. It's so much fun because I get to meet men from all over the world, and so many different stories, so many different backgrounds, so many different kinks. Everyone's so different in what they like, and um, I have men that send me their keys and that I get to um order them around, and it's just fun. That brings me pleasure, getting to have that power over someone that's you know hours and a day away by plane. It's pretty cool.
That does sound super fun to have that kind of power. I
Hmm.
don't get that kind of power over anybody.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, anyways, well, thank you for that. We really appreciate the fact that we got a voice question this week, and thank you for writing. Um, we really want more questions. We love it, and would love it to be an even bigger part of our show is listener questions. So you can send us listener questions either through the fan mail, which is in the show notes. You can email us podcast@cuckoldresslexie.com. Or to Lexie's email, Lexie@cuckoldresslexie.com. Either one. If you want her to see it, if you want me to see it first. Although, to be fair, I'm going to end up putting it in the script. So either way, it's going to come to me. You can also send us the voicemail. The one you do on the voicemail is on the show notes. You just click the send fan mail, and it'll give you an option to send a text message or a voicemail. And we love the voicemail. So thank you so much for that. Okay, so Lexie, I think the biggest takeaway from tonight is being ready to be a cuck is about it's not about eliminating jealousy. It's not about being perfect. It's just about being aware that all these things are going to happen. So if you truly have asked yourself those questions and you're aware, then what really matters is you and your partner having built that level of trust and communication so that you can effectively have this relationship. And then it can really, really even strengthen you. So your communication should already be good, but it's going to go to another level after you enter this dynamic.
Well said.
Yeah. But thank you again for joining us today. Make sure you follow Lexie on Fansly. Make sure you visit her website, cuckoldresslexie.com. And we'll talk to y'all again soon. Yeah, and visit our Patreon too. That'll be in our show notes as well. Lexie, you want to say bye to everybody?
Bye, guys.
Bye.